Hello, and welcome to my video lecture associated with some more complicated SQL queries. I'm going to use the examples from the text, but let's walk through them together to make sure you understand how these are put together. So, page 308, the author talks about writing a query or getting a result set for each salesperson to list his or her biggest selling product. So first of all, it has to be broken down, and I said this before. We have to start small, build our way up. So the first thing we might want to do is we would want to compute the total sales for each product sold by each salesperson. So that's a fairly simple multi-table query. So let's start off. Right, we're going to select the salesperson name. Hey, look, I spelled that right. I think anyway. The product description, and we're going to use an aggregate function sum of the ordered quantity as total orders. Okay, so there's our select clause. Nice. To simple, straightforward. You should understand all of this. And then here's our from clause. So we want to combine a couple of tables, right? Because in order to get this, right, if we go back to salesperson, right, here's our salesperson. We've got a salesperson ID. Where's our salesperson ID? Salesperson ID is in the order table. Right, so we're going to go from salesperson to order. And I don't actually know why there's not a relationship there. There's our salesperson ID. Right, now we have a relationship. So there's our salesperson ID to salesperson ID. Right, so we're going to go from salesperson to order, from order to order line, and then to product. Don't know why that line wasn't there, but whatever. Right, so salesperson T, I'm going to put as SP. Inner joined to the order table. Right, the order T table as O on, right, SP dot salesperson ID equals O dot salesperson ID. So that's our first join condition. We got 4 tables, so we need 2 more. Right, so I'm going to start putting parens around. So I put 2 parens around the beginning because now this is going to be inner joined to the order line table. On, and I want that to be aliased as OL. Makes it easier. And it's not it's on. O dot order ID equals OL dot order ID. And then I need one more set of parens, because that is going to be inner joined to the product T table, aliased as P, on the OL dot product ID, product, don't add an extra key in there, equals P dot product ID. Start getting the idea of why aliasing tables will reduce a bunch of keystrokes here and there. So here are our salespeople, and we're ordering. Right, we've got them all joined together, but we are using an aggregate function in our select statement. Therefore, we have to do a group by on any column that is not aggregated. So we have to group by the salesperson name and the product description. Okay, so let's run that, make sure that works. Woohoo! We typed in everything right. So now what we've got is we've got the sum of the orders for each of our salespeople, right? So far, so good. All right, so we have the total order. So Fred Flintstone has sold 2 nightstands. Jacob Winslow has sold 3 8-drawer dressers. Okay, so now the trick is to very efficiently find out from this list which is the product that the salesperson sells the most. So we would expect that in regard to Jacob Winslow, we would actually get 2 records returned because Jacob sold 3 writer's desks and 3 8-drawer dressers. Okay, so we've got the basis of our SQL. So we're going to do this is we're going to make this an inner query. So far so good. All right, so here's our inner query. Now the outer query is we are going to select the salesperson name and the product description. From this and we'll alias this as total sales, right, or summed sales, whatever you want to call it, but I'm going to call it. So that this is the alias for that subquery that we have, right, our derived table, if you will. And then what we're going to do is we're going to do a correlated subselect. So we're going to have our where clause, so where tote orders, right, because remember we've got tote orders in our inner query. Where tote orders equals, in this case we can use equals because we're going to do a select max, and the select max will only return 1 value. So we're going to select the max of tote orders from and then what we have to do is we have to copy this whole thing over again. I know, the author says create a view. We don't have to do that. From tote sales. In this case, we'll just call it something else. We'll call it some sales. Right, so now, this is getting ugly, isn't it? Where tote sales dot salesperson name will be set equal to some sales salesperson name. Think this is going to work? Oh, and that is the inner query. Let's run that. And there you go. We got Jacob has his 8-drawer dresser and his writer's desk, just what we said. Fred Flintstone was only selling nightstands, right? We got Pepe Le Pew. Hopefully you got a kick out of some of these names. But yeah, that right there is some crazy SQL. But again, doing it step by step, working your way through it, not that bad. You should somewhat understand that. That is an ugly looking SQL statement right there. But again, you should understand how I did that. But don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to write anything like this on a test or a quiz. That's the end of that video lecture.